Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
Hog Jaw Q and Brew. Just the name sounds kind of curious, doesn't it? If you haven't tried Hog Jaw Q and Brew, well then, you've missed out on what's been voted Kansas City's best barbecue. Aged beef, slow smoked. Yep, even better than a guy named Joe. We're at 9th and Swift, right off Burlington Road. Come in, order online, DoorDash. Heck, we'll even cater. Hog Jaw Q and Brew, hogjaw.com. Come see what all the fuss is about.
Stephen St. John here. Is your lawn ready to be the envy of the neighborhood? Custom Lawn and Landscape.
2 minutes, gentlemen, 2 minutes.
With their expert 7-step fertilization and weed control program. With over 40 years of experience serving Johnson County, they're excited to now be serving Lawrence and all of Kansas City as well. And here's the best part. Get your first application absolutely free. Call Custom Lawn today or visit CustomLawn.com to claim your free application and get started. Custom Lawn and Landscape, because beautiful lawns don't happen by accident.
Hey there, Kansas Lottery here, and we want to get together for a game or two. Meet us at your favorite retailer or wherever you like to buy your tickets, and we can let the games begin. There's a lot of fun and cash on the line. See KSLottery.com for details.
Napier Katie.
1 minute.
In wellness, Kansas City summers are about to heat up, and if you're battling excess sweat, well, at Aesthetic Care Med Spa and Wellness, they have the FDA-approved Mira Dry, the game-changing no-surgery treatment that permanently reduces underarm sweat and odor. Most clients experience up to a 70% reduction in sweat and odor in just one treatment, and with 2 treatments, most people will never antiperspirant again. And the best part is you get a free consultation to see if it's right for you. Call 816-338-7881 or visit us at GreatSkinKC.com to learn more.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Kirk, Todd.
How you doing this morning?
How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, I feel okay.
You and I are going to go down to Wheatland tonight, right?
I think so.
Planned on that, yeah. So we're going to ride down for the final night of the Diamond Classic for the Kubota High Limit Racing. I was down there on Thursday night, and the racing was terrific. They got a lot of rain at Wheatland yesterday, and there was some question whether we were going to see last night's races, but they got it in. They got the track back in shape after a torrential downpour, and it was a different racetrack last night, maybe a little bit heavier, but there was still some pretty good action down at Lucas Oil Speedway last night.
It rained really hard yesterday, didn't it?
It did.
Yep.
So, I mean, but Lucas Oil Speedway, you got the paved pits. You know, if you get the track in shape, the rest of it can come around. And hats off to the track crew at Lucas Oil Speedway for getting the track back together last night and seeing Rico Abreu come through with the win. And what a turnaround he had from Thursday night to Friday night. Thursday night, he didn't qualify well at all. He had to come out of the B, came from 20th to 10th in the A on Thursday night, but whatever Ricky Warner, his crew chief, and Rico discussed after the races on Thursday night, they certainly got a turnaround for last night because he qualified a whole lot better in last night's round, which put him in pretty good position for the rest of the night. He qualified second last night in Group A, so that set him up pretty well for the rest of the night. Finished second in his heat race, and then in the dash, he ended up in fourth, but it didn't really matter because he was still able to grab the lead about 11 laps into the race.
Coming from 20th to 10th is
on Thursday night.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he was the hard charger on Thursday night, but he only ended up in 10th. So they certainly got things turned around for last night with the Rico Abreu number 24. Ashton Torgerson led the first 7 laps of the race. Tyler Courtney was able to grab the lead. 3 or 4 laps later, here comes Rico Abreu, and he sailed on from there. A couple of guys made some pretty good rallies there towards the end. Tanner Thorson, who had a second-place finish on Thursday night.
Did you feel like
ended up in third place last night? So a couple of podium finishes for Tanner Thorson. We're going to hear from some of these guys here in a little bit. Coilover car, Scott. Tanner Thorson's driving the only coilover suspension on that car, but they've the way they've been running lately, he just might walk out of there with a $25,000 tonight. What do you think? Think Tanner Thorson get it done? I do.
I think so. I believe that Tanner Thorson's got a chance to win that race.
Absolutely.
You know, the 88 car is awful fast.
It is. It has been fast, not just this weekend, but they've got some things figured out on that race car. So I would bet that he has got every bit of opportunity to walk out of there with the big money tonight. Matter of fact, I'm going to pick Tanner Thorson to win tonight. What do you think?
What about Tyler Courtney?
He can win too, but you know, it's he won a World of Outlaw race here a couple of weeks ago, but he's not won a high limit race this year. And if you look at the point standings right now, you know, after Brad Sweet got DQ'd here a few weeks back, that really opened up things with the points battle right now. We got a tie for the lead between Thursday night's winner Aaron Reitzel and Brad Sweet. And Tyler Courtney is 24 points back. Rico is 27 points behind. And Brent Marks 36 points in arrears in 5th place. That's a whole lot closer championship battle than we see over there at the World of Outlaws, where David Gravel is running away with it. He won last night up at Cedar Lake. So the high limit points battle is going to be a whole lot more interesting to watch from here on out. So you want to hear some sound from some of the guys from last night?
Yep.
Let's first hear from Rico. This is after his victory last night from Victory Lane.
This is just determination beats talent there. That's how things work in this sport. It's this sport becomes really humbling at times, and you can get up top really easily, and then you can just get beat down to the ground. And I put all these guys up front here, and just thank Ricky Warner, Zach Middlebrooks, Brady Forbrook, my wife Megan Gus, Toby Balbones with us, my family, just for riding the wave with me in this sport. It's we get to race so many times a year, so there's lots of highs and lows, and things change. What we've really noticed is these 4 tires are the only thing that touches the racetrack, and you work with spring rates, and things can change throughout the season, and you just got to stay up to pace with everything, and not really get too hard on yourself as a race car driver. I put a lot of this on myself because I'm out there navigating this Kubota Genuine Parts number 24.
Yeah, I mean, Rico kind of struggled. He was on a pretty good roll there for a while, and then over the last couple of weeks, he kind of struggled. He went with the World of Outlaws up at Houston Speedway last weekend, and the format didn't serve him well. If you remember, he qualified number 1 on the preliminary nights up there and didn't make the A main because he lost a couple of spots. They put the top time guys on the 3rd row outside up at Houston's last weekend, and he lost a couple of positions one night, and the next night on a preliminary night for the High Bank Nationals, he lost more positions than that, and he had to start 16th in the B main. He had no chance to make the A main. So, we talked about this on Monday. I got a little bit of a problem with the format at the High Bank Nationals. I don't have an issue with trying to make everybody race for every lap, but something is wrong when you qualify number one in your group. And if you don't make the A main, you have to start 16th in the B if you're the top qualifier. That was what I had an issue with. So Rico struggled with that last week, but he's back with the high limit this weekend. And after a struggle on Thursday night, he got things turned around last night.
Yep.
So Thursday night, Scott, Tanner Thorson pulled a big slider on Aaron Reitzel coming off the fourth turn for the checkered flag and didn't quite make it stick. Reitzel was able to hang on for victory by less than a car length. What do you think about that race?
I thought it was pretty good, Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Reitzel also had some issues with the format at the World of Outlaws the High Bank Nationals up there too. He loaded up early and headed out, but he shows up at Lucas Oil Speedway on Thursday night.
You've got some sound from Aaron Reitzel.
I do. Let's hear from Thursday night's winner, Aaron Reitzel, who survived a big slide job from Tanner Thorson. And I asked him how comfortable he was with Lucas Oil Speedway.
I don't know. I haven't been very good here, I don't feel like. Even the ASTS days, I think I won one race and it was really heavy the whole time. But, even like when we came last year for the Hawkett, we weren't very good. And I tried a bunch of stuff tonight. I got out of my comfort zone and I was pretty happy with the car. It did fall, it kind of fell off at the end. It's something we need to figure out, but we're definitely on the right track for the smaller joints and the more like smaller, slicker joints. Our half-mile stuff's great, but yeah, like I said, I think we're on the right track though.
How did you went around the outside of Tyler to get in the lead?
Yeah, we were all running middle bottom, and I had nothing to lose, so I went up there and really built some speed, and I ran him down. And I felt like he might have been watching the screen or something. He was searching around too. It was about the time. So he kind of moved up to the top right when I got to him. So I hurried up and went to the bottom and tried to make it look like I was running the bottom because we weren't on the screen side. And lucky enough, he must have thought I was running the bottom, and he moved back down, and I was able to just circle around him. And, and then luckily the caution didn't come any earlier because I wasn't even sure if I was going to keep it or not, because we all crossed the line, but I think I was down the backstretch when it went off, and you just never know when the yellow came on, so you just never know. But yeah, just a great night all in all, and really happy with the progress we made.
Then Tanner ran you down there a little bit. Just talk about him making that slider coming off the fourth turn.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think that, I looked up at the screen and I seen he was close. And so then the last 3 laps I went really hard, and I don't think that was the right call. I think I was better off just pacing myself. And I got up over the cushion and made a big mistake. And I knew he was coming, so I just entered high and got coming down the hill knowing he was coming. And sure, he threw a big haymaker on me, and which he needed to. It was last-ditch effort. And luckily, I had to run down the hill and was able to get back by him.
That is Thursday night's winner, Aaron Reitzel, and Aaron ended up with a 5th place finish last night. But the other guy one to talk to after Thursday night was, of course, the 2nd place finisher, Tanner Thorson. And here is what Tanner had to say after he almost pulled off a big victory on Thursday night. Well, your race car has been really fast here lately. What's been the key factor of you running as well as you have been?
Just having good people and knowledgeable people behind me. Good motors, good shocks, good springs, just a good package. My crew guys are good. I feel like my driving's improved a lot here in the last couple months even and this year. But comes down to the people around me, and car's been real good.
What's the biggest reason more people don't run the coilover?
Scared. I don't know. It's just a different deal. I mean, you gotta be committed, and we're committed. And I got one of the best guys that's ever done the coils, being my father-in-law, Stevie, and I just have a lot of his knowledge behind it that I'm able to trust as far as the crew chiefing side and the driving side, and it allows me to be, confident in my race car. So it's just a different feel, and something I'm enjoying.
All right, you ran down Aaron there. You pulled a big old slider coming off the fourth turn there. What were you thinking on that last corner?
I didn't feel like I had a shot at it just because I was kind of far back, but he kept getting tight and messing up on 1 and 2, and I just had to send a Hail Mary and just show him that I was there. Pretty simple. This sport is a lot more about mind games than it is anything else sometimes, and if you can show someone that you're faster than them, then you might mess with them a little bit. So we obviously had a better car there at the end. He had a really good car there at the start, and we capitalize and we strive for trying to be the best car at the end of the races, and sometimes it helps us, sometimes it doesn't. And tonight it was really beneficial. We started 10th, ran second. So so just keep building. Struggled in qualifying. We got a different motor in here that we normally run, and just trying to kind of fine-tune, and we'll fine-tune tomorrow and try to come out swinging a little bit harder and maybe start up in the front couple rows, and it'll be a different story.
Kirk, that was a pretty good drag race down to the start-finish line, wasn't it?
It was. Did you think Thorson was going to get Reitzel there at the finish?
I did.
Came close.
Yep.
Then Tanner Thorson followed it up on Friday night with a third-place finish. They locked in the top 4 finishers from last night who don't have to qualify tonight. That's what they do on these multi-night shows. If it's a 3-night show, the last night they lock in the top 4 finishers from the Friday preliminary night. So you got Rico, Sunshine, Thorson, and Marks, who will not have to qualify in tonight's show, but $25,000 on the line tonight for the Saturday night finale of the Diamond Classic.
Hey, Kirk, Landon Crawley blew up.
That was a vicious engine explosion, wasn't it?
It was.
He popped the motor. Landon Crawley and Johnny Herrera's number 45X car. That dumped all the oil right out on the racetrack, and it caught fire there when he popped that engine. That was the other incident that happened last night, Scott, was when Reese Moran hit the backstretch wall during qualifying. I think he thought maybe a torsion arm may have broke on that car, but boy, that was a vicious hit. And of course, the car tumbled after that, and thank goodness Reese Moran was okay after that incident, but that was probably the only other incident last night. Pretty quick show last night. They got done early, and congratulations again to Rico Abreu and Aaron Reitzel, the 2 winners from the preliminary nights, and we'll be anxious to get back down there tonight and see what happens on the final night down there. The World of Outlaws were in action last night at Cedar Lake Speedway, the first of 2 nights at the Wisconsin racetrack, and David Gravel coming through with the big win, but probably the biggest moment of the race has to be when Carson Macedo jumped the start at the beginning of the race and was penalized a row. He was the winner of the dash, so he was on the pole.
Right.
And he had jumped out to the lead, but I think he jumped the start. He went too early. That really cost Carson Macedo because Gravel was able to take advantage of that and take the lead in that race and win his 10th World of Outlaw feature of the year. Macedo was able to finish second, but if not for that jump in the start,
He
that was pretty costly.
He might have had a chance to win that race.
Buddy Kofoid ends up in third, and what a roll Buddy Kofoid is on after winning all that money up at Houston Speedway last weekend. He ends up third ahead of Logan Schuart and Gio Scelzi. Big rally back from Sheldon Hodenshield. and Bill Baylog, both of which were in the work area. Baylog had to replace a tire. They replaced a front axle on Sheldon Hodenshield's number 17 car after he got into it with a lap car. He still rallies back from that, replacing the front axle on that car to a 9th place finish. So they'll finish up tonight up at Cedar Lake Speedway for the World of Outlaws.
Unfortunately, he started second, and he ended up running 9th.
Yeah, but that's still a pretty good rally back from having to replace the front axle from the back of the pack to 9th.
Right.
So Sheldon still had a pretty fast race car. Other winners last night, dirt late model action up at North Dakota last night. Nick Hoffman wins his first ever at River City Speedway in the World of Outlaws last night. And Jason Fager winning in the Dirt Car Summer Nationals at Farmer City Raceway last night. And the other big winner, Scott.
Right.
Xfinity Series at Atlanta. Pretty exciting finish. Nick Sanchez coming through with the Xfinity Series win. We're going to see the Cup guys on the track tonight. That's a Saturday night race at what they now call Echo Park
on
Speedway.
TNT. Back on the old school TNT.
We had 5 weeks on the Prime Network, and now we've got TNT for the next 5 races,
Yes,
right?
Sir. Pretty good coverage with Junior and everybody, so I think it should be good.
That race last night was on the CW network.
CW. It was running pretty late last night, wasn't it, Kirk?
They had
a lot of
they
weather.
had a rain delay, did they not?
Yeah, and then even time trials, they had to do one and dones too.
Yeah.
There was no, they pushed things up a little.
That thing didn't get over till after midnight Eastern time.
It was crazy because normally I'm still awake, and it was still going on when I was out. I went to bed.
You went to bed?
Yeah, I was out a little early on that.
You were tired.
I was a little wore out.
After you watched the Royals lose disappointingly to the Dodgers last night.
Packed house last night.
That was a rough ending. What a double play to end the game. They had something going, but
we had that.
Hey, what are you going to do?
It was.
Royals haven't won a game at home for how long now?
May 30th, right? Something like that.
Wow.
I think
that's enough about that.
Yeah,
right?
I think the Chiefs are closer to the home or to breaking camp than we have been since we won a Royals game. That's how far away. That tells you
they
anything.
Got 10 losses in a row at home, or 11.
It's not good.
Not good.
Not good at all.
And you're going up against the defending world champion.
It's been 10 losses.
We haven't won since
May.
May. I
at
mean,
home.
At home.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not good at home.
Well, enough about that.
Yeah. Well,
We're
that's
get back to racing.
Back to racing.
Hey, we've got a couple of guests that from our Mostly Motorsport show from earlier in the week. We're going to hear from Trey Starks. Is going to be with us here a little bit later on the hour. $100,000 winner at Skagit Speedway last Saturday night. How about that race, Scott? That was fun to watch. Trey Starks, the winner, hometown guy, Seattle area.
I want to give a shout out to Tim Carrick. He picked up the USAR B-Mod win last night.
Lakeside last night.
He did.
How about that? Congratulations to him. So we got a lot of racing to talk about. We're going to hear from Chase Rodman, the voice of the High Limit Racing, coming up here in just a little bit.
Big
Another
preview
conversation we had earlier in the week.
Yeah, big preview of Lucas Oil.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about Lucas Oil Speedway. Later on in Hour 2, we're going to hear from Blake Hahn, who picked up his first ASCS National Tour win last Saturday night at Batesville, Arkansas. So we'll hear from him, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about here.
Absolutely.
We are in the meat of the summertime with a lot of racing going on.
All right, we're going to take a break. It's all brought to you by Track Talk. It's brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Trey Starks is going to...
Chase Rodman, then Trey Starks.
Chase Rodman's going to join us next here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Hey, folks.
4 minutes, gentlemen, 4 minutes.
10-4.
And I don't know if you noticed, but things have been a little volatile here of late. There's never been a better time to take control of a lot of things in your life, including your family's food supply chain, than right now. At Greengrass Cattle Company, you can do that in several different ways. Buying family bundles is the way that my family and I go. They're always in stock at Greengrass Cattle Company. We got ourselves a deep freeze, and we've always got a full supply of beef from Greengrass Cattle Company. Buying a beef share from Greengrass Cattle Company is the most economical way to fill your freezer. If you've never bought meat that way before, they and Bickelmeyer Meats will walk you through the process, and there's no waiting with Greengrass Cattle Company. You can call them to schedule your share right away. Best of all, you know your farmer. You know where your food's coming from. You know you're getting a premium product humanely raised on the pastures in Weston, Missouri. Make 2025 the year that you take control of your family's food chain. GreengrassCattleCo.com.
The big screen is still the best way to enjoy the magic of the movies. At B&B Theaters, we have the best big screens to enjoy the movies. B&B is family-owned and operated and has been bringing Hollywood to your hometown since 1924. And they are headquartered out of the Kansas City Northland. Visit B&B this month for great movies like Ballerina, The Phoenician Scheme, How to Train Your Dragon, Elio, F1, and more. Visit bnbtheaters.com to join our Backstage Pass loyalty program, which is totally free to join. B&B Theaters, the way movies are meant to be seen.
Summer's here and it's time to soak up the good life. Pro-Built Pool and Patio in Riverside has everything you need for ultimate backyard bliss. Imagine unwinding in a luxurious Cal Spa, stylish garden leisure hot tub, or a powerful QCA hot tub. But Pro-Built is more than just hot tubs. Dive into fitness with their incredible swim spas. And for the ultimate cool down and recovery, explore their invigorating cold plunges. Visit Pro-Built Pool and Patio today at 4708 Northwest Gateway Avenue in Riverside, Missouri. Your oasis awaits.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
Hog Jaw Q and Brew. Just the name sounds kind of curious, doesn't it? If you haven't tried Hog Jaw Q and Brew, well then, you've missed out on what's been voted Kansas City's best barbecue. Aged beef, slow smoked. Yep, even better than a guy named Joe. We're at 9th and Swift, right off Burlington Road. Come in, order online, DoorDash. Heck, we'll even cater. Hog Jaw Q and Brew. Hogjaw.com. Come see what all the fuss is about.
1 minute.
Thank you.
June is heating up, and Greenlight is ready with 5 Kansas City locations: State Line, Bannister, Independence, Harrisonville, and Ford Parkway. We're here to fuel your summer with top-tier cannabis and unbeatable deals. And here's the kicker. Greenlight's been voted Missouri's #1 dispensary 4 years in a row. That's loyalty, that's trust, that's Greenlight. Whether you're shopping for dad or stocking up for summer, come see what the buzz is all about. The best cannabis deals always at greenlightdispensary.com.
Things are heating up with over $170,000 in prizes at Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway. Win your share of $50,000 Penn slot play Thursday nights in June. Saturday nights, you can win $500 Penn slot play every 15 minutes. Stay up to date with what's coming up next with the Penn Play app. Find your fun this season at Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply.
Chase Rodman is the voice of the high limit racing. You heard him on the PA at Lucas Oil Speedway last night. He and Tony Laporta do a great job. covering the action. And earlier this week, we spoke with Chase Rodman about the Diamond Classic, Lucas Oil Speedway coming up this weekend. Here's a little portion of that conversation. Let's preview a little bit more of what's going to happen this weekend down at Lucas Oil Speedway. 3 big nights of racing. I'm a little disappointed we're not going to Lake Ozark Speedway, but Brad Sweet explained that last week. They wanted to make Lucas Oil Speedway into a 3-day weekend, and they've got it with Kyle Larson coming in on Thursday night. But what excites me the most about this weekend is the track conditions have been really good the last couple of years. We were down there for the Show Me 100 for the late models. The track held up very well. I'm really excited about what kind of racing we're going to see this weekend down at Wheatland.
Yeah, I mean, so am I, especially after what we saw from the 2 races that we had there last year. The first one, Tyler Courtney won from 9th place. Passing, I think it was Brad late in the race, and I think it was 5 different leaders in that race that we had in June of last year. And then in the October race, Brad Sweet won, but we had Ryan Timms up there leading the feature before he had some kind of mechanical problem, had to go to the work area. Tanner Thorson up there almost took the lead. He blew an engine. Lucas Oil last year, the 2 races we had, you could not ask for a better surface than what we had there. Perfect racing for sprint cars, and it's good to see because, I think a few years before, I had never been there prior to last year, but I had heard a lot of, people mention that the track was struggling as far as the surface goes. But whatever those issues were, they have got them dialed in now. They've got it down to a science, and I'm very, very excited to see the surface we get on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Because with the field that's going to be showing up, I'm thinking we're going to have over 30 cars, going to have some good drivers in the field. We could see another showcase down there in Wheatland. Looking forward to it.
A couple of guys I think we need to keep our eyes on. You just brought up one of them, Ryan Timms. I remember last year at that October race, that's just right about the time that he and Liebings were getting together. They had a great run up at I-70. They went down to Lucas Oil Speedway, ran great there. But Chase Randall is the other guy I think we need to keep our eye on this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do as well. I was just doing my notes as I mentioned there, and he's ran there quite a bit with the Power Eye Series and Lucas Oil 360s, and he's won there 2 times with the War non-wing sprint cars as well. This definitely, I don't know why, it just feels like a track that Chase Randall will be able to run well at. I felt like he was fast at Houston last week, just, got into a couple of incidents, got into some bad spots, tore up a car one of the nights, but I feel like he shows speed quite a bit throughout the week at Houston, and hopefully that translates into some good speed at Lucas Oil, a place that he's got, a fair amount of laps at. So, yeah, you're right about that. I was thinking maybe Chase Randall's a guy to watch out for a top 5 or 2 this weekend at Lucas Oil Speedway. Seems like a place could be right up his alley.
The other guy we're keeping our eye on, and boy, has he run well here recently, Tanner Thorson. Now, you talk one of these guys that does a lot of work on his own race car. Thorson has really come alive here over the last 2 or 3 weeks, hasn't he?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, he, I've known Tanner Thorson for a long time, and I raced against him back in the day when I raced, and we've had a lot of good times together, and it's great to see him having success right now because, those guys, I mean, sure, they had a couple of good runs here and there in 2024, but you could tell that they were still a new team trying to figure things out. But, man, they are on a generational run right now. I mean, dating back to Butler back on May 31st, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think 8 or 9 top 10s, a second-place run with, high limit, and then he was 12th at the High Bank Nationals. I mean, that is a good run for that team against a 60-car field. He was in the top 10 before he had a bad restart. You could tell that these guys, the Rod Gross Motorsports team, the driver, they are getting everything figured out. They're getting into a rhythm. They're not having any kind of mechanical problems. But last year at Lucas Oil, man, I mean, he was top 5 the night that we were talking about with Sunshine getting the win. And then it looked like he was maybe going to win the second race, but he blew an engine running in second. So I think I mentioned it on one of my YouTube videos a few weeks back. I think that Tanner Thorson could walk out of Lucas Oil Speedway with 3 top 5s.
And I was thinking Ryan Timms would show up down there at least for the Thursday night show. I know he had Knoxville scheduled on Saturday night, but I really thought the way how well he ran in that midweek show in October last year that Ryan Timms would show back up down there, but he didn't have it on his schedule. I see, but he'll be at Knoxville tonight. But that was a little bit of a surprise. But we just got through talking about Tanner Thorson, and he's proved out what we were talking about. He's keeping his momentum up with a couple of podium finishes already down there, and Tanner Thorson poised to maybe walk out of there with the big prize tonight.
Tanner Thorson give Aaron Reitzel a heck of a run, didn't he?
Oh, man. Yeah. It looked like that Reitzel was just going to run away and hide in that race. He was ripping the top side. But, all those guys that I talked to said they were watching the video board. They could see what was happening. Aaron said, I could see him coming.
That was a drag race right down to the line, wasn't it, Kurt?
It was hell of a finish.
Yep.
So, anyway, we were also right about the track conditions. They proved out to be as good as we talked about earlier in the week. And, even with that heavy rainstorm they had there yesterday, track turned into great racing last night. One other piece of sound here I want to try to get in here before we take a break. Brad Sweet finished in third place on Thursday night. He's now tied for the points lead with Aaron Reitzel right now. Here's the comments from the Big Cat after his third place finish on Thursday night. If I get this set up here, bear with me just 1 second. Here's Brad Sweet.
More than anything, but we're pretty proud of that effort. Obviously anytime you can go forward and get yourself out of trouble is a good thing. So tonight a third is one of those nights where we're actually happy and got ourselves behind the 8 ball qualifying and had to dig ourselves out of the hole. So hopefully tomorrow come back and just can put together a little bit cleaner night and then hopefully get the car a little bit better in the A and maybe contend for the win.
Track was pretty racy out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, just place has been pretty good. Honestly, the last year we came here a couple times and it was good. And this year so far that was a great racetrack. So I definitely think they've made a lot of progress with their surface and it's been really good for high limit so far. And Lucas Oil, our first few events together have gone really well.
Sweet was not as good last night as he was on Thursday night. He started 7th and ended up 7th. Last night, so he's probably not happy with the way things went last night compared to what he did on Thursday night. But still, he's tied for the lead and going for a second straight high limit championship and his 7th straight national points championship. Remember, he was a 5-time World of Outlaw champion before he moved over to high limit.
Aaron Reitzel wasn't happy last night either, was he?
Yeah, he's another guy that's not as good as Thursday night. Went on Thursday night, he ends up 5th last night. So those two guys probably the most disappointed, even though they both finished in the top 10. Ashton Torgerson, I was impressed with what he did last night. Here's a guy that never even seen Lucas Oil Speedway before Thursday night. There's a lot of racetracks that Ashton Torgerson has not seen. He's the new driver for Bobby Allen in that 1-8 car, and he stepped in after Jacob Allen decided he wanted to retire. And Ashton Torgerson, you remember a few weeks back, won a race at a track he'd never seen in Pennsylvania, Baps Motor Speedway. And I thought he did pretty good. He led the first 7 laps of the race last night. He ended up in 6th place, but you got to figure who he's racing against and the competition level he's going up against. I thought Ashton Torgerson did pretty well up there, finishing in 6th place.
Rico Abreu, Tyler Courtney, Tanner Thorson, Brett Marks, Aaron Reitzel, and Ashton Torgerson.
I was thinking Marks probably would be happy with that finish after he flipped the car in both appearances at Lucas Oil Speedway last year. So Brett Marks, usually not happy unless he wins, has to be pleased with the 4th place finish after 2 bad finishes of getting upside down last year at this racetrack.
He started on the pole.
Ashton Torgerson.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, that We'll see what happens down there tonight. I think Mother Nature's going to stay away from us tonight. Let's hope so. $25,000 up for grabs, so we'll see what happens. So we're going to talk to Trey Starks here. We already have spoken with him. We interviewed him on Monday's Mostly Motorsports show. But Trey Starks won the Hype. It's called the Dirt Cup. It's at Skagit Speedway, north of Seattle. You've been at this racetrack many times.
I've been there many a times.
Way north of Seattle, isn't it? How far north is it?
About an hour and a half north.
Hour and a half north of Seattle.
Yep.
Up to almost to Canada.
Yep.
So anyway, we're going to hear from Trey Starks coming up here in the next segment.
All right.
So we will do that.
Should we
next.
take a break?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's take a break. Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints since 1989, Kirk.
That's it. Kansas City, proud Kansas City company. Rod End Supply has been doing business here for a long time, and they are worldwide known in the racing circles. So we thank Bob Douglas, Rod End Supply, for being a big supporter for everything that we've done since we got started.
Right.
Back way when. So.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more Track Talk. Brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We'll be back with more in a moment. Stay tuned.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
You got 2 minutes, gentlemen, 2 minutes.
Summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Heartland Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. My team knows injury law. We can help you understand all of your legal rights so that you don't get cheated.
DM Law knew what to do and got me $500,000.
Mike's got this.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
For the past 60 years, Kansas City has trusted City Rent-A-Truck for all their work truck needs. Whether you're tackling a construction project, working on power lines, or just need to transport your crew, we have a reliable fleet of work-ready, on-demand vehicles to keep you moving. Flatbeds, bucket trucks, pickups, dump trucks, service bodies, and much more. We offer the widest selection of vocational vehicles in the industry. Visit us today at cityrentaTruck.com.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Kirk?
What'd you think of Trey Starks winning that big money out at Skagit Speedway last Saturday night?
I thought that was a big win for him.
Yeah, he's that was a big win because he's from that area up there in Seattle, and he was able to maneuver his way to the checkered flag. We spoke with Trey Starks the $100,000 winner at the Dirt Cup earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports, and here's a little bit of that conversation. Well, when you walk out of there, $114,000 counting the lap money? What was the total?
Yeah, I think that was the total on the weekend. I think it was $111,000 and change for Saturday. And then the prelim nights was another $3,000 or so. So yeah, not a bad haul on the weekend for sure.
Obviously, the biggest night of your career. Just what does this mean to win such a big event like the Dirt Cup?
It means everything. I mean, it's a race that I would say, I've going to Dirt Cup for a long time, even before I was racing, but it's a race that we've, technically been trying to win since 2010. I would say it's a race that we've been in contention to win for the last couple years, but never really could put it together. So, to an event like Dirt Cup, it's one that, you can't really fall into it or get lucky or have a fluke that you can win. It's one that you got to, be there all weekend. You work towards through both the prelim nights, and, you got to be good and you got to have luck and you got to have things that go your way a little bit, but you got to be fast every time you get to the racetrack. So I feel like we've done that a couple times, but just haven't been able to put it together. So to make it, to execute on it, is really, really rewarding for us for sure, because again, it's a race that we've been trying to win for a long, long time, and it's got a big history with a long list of really good drivers that have won it. So it's really cool to finally add my name to that list.
Hey, Tanner Holmes gave you quite a bit of run, didn't he?
Yeah, he was really fast. I mean, we knew that, that you weren't going to have to take, a single corner off, with guys like Tanner and James, and then you get Shane Golobic, who's been really, really good at Skagit the last couple of years. Justin Sanders has won a Dirt Cup in the last, couple of years as well, and he's fast every time he hits the track. And then, with the field at Dirt Cup, you got 26 really fast cars out there. So, I was not one bit surprised to see Tanner there. He's been fast all weekend, and he's really been fast all year. So, he gave us a good challenge, but I was happy that we were able to take advantage of a restart and steal that one back, and was able to kind of control it the rest of the race.
Did you need that restart in order to get back by?
I don't know if we really needed the restart as much as we needed the open red. The weather was pretty not crazy for Washington, I guess, but it was, kind of all over the place all weekend. To be honest with you, I wasn't too certain that we were going to get every show in with the rain and everything that we got in between the races. But the air really took a turn there, right, I would say, between when we pushed onto the track for driver intros to when we actually fired off. I mean, there was a pretty thick layer of fog that kind of rolled in. You could kind of tell that there was moisture in the air. So during that red, we actually, of all things, we made some fuel system adjustments and tuned on the engine a little bit. And after that, it was pretty big difference. And so I think that was probably the biggest difference maker, was getting that open red and getting to work on it a little bit.
Did you change the pill on the car?
Yeah, we changed main pill. We changed high-speed pressure. We kind of changed everything we could in 2 minutes. Just trying to get it to run a little bit better. I do think with the amount of moisture was in the air, nobody out there had an engine that was probably running at 100%. But we just needed to get ours a little bit closer. And we definitely made a main pill adjustment, and like I said, some high-speed stuff, and just anything we could do to get it to run a little better.
That track looked really racy. They nailed the track prep, it looked like to me.
Yeah, they did a great job. I mean, they got a lot of rain between by the time the main was done on Friday, it started raining shortly after, and then it kept raining until sometime in the morning on Saturday. So, yeah, they did a lot of work to it. They got it nice and wide for us. And, I don't really know what more you could ask for in a racetrack. It was, all the way up on the top, and you could run on the bottom, and then you could even run right through the middle. So, from a driver's standpoint, not really much more you can ask for.
How big was that a year ago when the High Limit Series went out there? You won at Grays Harbor. I think you won the first night of the 3 nights they had there at Skagit Speedway. How big was that to win those races against that kind of a competition last year?
Oh, yeah, that was huge. And, I think it kind of prepared us for what we were going to look at here at Dirt Cup a little bit. Getting that win at Grays Harbor was great because Grays Harbor is a track that, we don't run out a whole lot, but for some reason I just, something about the track, we kind of mesh really well, and I seem to excel there. And then kind of backing it up with the first night of the Skagit Nationals to fall, that was huge for our team. And it kind of gave us that breakthrough. We'd been fast around here, but we, some of the bigger weekends of the bigger races had eluded us a little bit. So to get that monkey off our back was, that was a pretty big deal for us for sure.
I've been to Grays Harbor and Skagit Speedway. Those are two real good tracks for you as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, both of them are good. Like I said, Grays Harbor we don't run out very often, but I seem to do pretty well there. And then, over the last couple of years, we've gotten a ton of laps at Skagit. So, I know that track very well. Skagit, Skagit is a unique track. And so I think it kind of creates a little bit of a level playing field. It gives, the locals maybe a little bit of an advantage at times, but also Skagit's a very dynamic racetrack, so it's constantly changing, and I don't think we've ever seen the same surface twice there. So there's always a little bit of a curveball that goes in there that kind of catches everybody by surprise, and we've worked really hard at trying to be able to adapt to pretty much any surface and situation we see. So definitely. I've got a ton of laps at both tracks, and they're both pretty good tracks for me and our team.
So a big congratulations to Trey Starks, $114,000, counting all the lap money and all the other money he won during the weekend up at Skagit Speedway. Not as much as Buddy Kofoid, though, huh? Buddy Kofoid walked out of Houston Speedway last weekend with almost $400,000. He won the Houston's Hustle on Thursday night last weekend and then backed that up with $250,000 winning the High Bank Nationals.
And $100,000.
Yeah, and the $100,000 winning the Houston's Hustle. So $250 plus $350 plus all the other
he had 55
money. So
didn't he win 55?
Yeah. So if you go back the last 2 weeks, the Eagle Nationals, $55,555. He's got, and then I don't know what he got paid last night up at
nearly a half a
million. Third at Cedar Lake, but he's got well over $425,000 in winnings just for the month of June.
Nearly $500,000 in prize winnings. This
that's just over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you saw him in Victory Lane, how emotional he was after he won that. We talked about it. It's life-changing money. That's that kind of money.
Well, think about this. He could easily have 3 straight High Bank Nationals wins. You remember 2 years ago, he blew that engine while cruising to the checkered flag. David Gravel ended up getting that win, but he very easily could have won that. He won the delayed High Bank Nationals last year that was over Labor Day weekend. They didn't pay the full money for that event, $100,000, but he could easily be sitting here with 3 straight High Bank Nationals victories.
Hey, Kirk, what's going on with Blackjack Brian Brown?
I don't know. He didn't have a good night last night, did he?
He didn't.
Brian did not make the A main last night. Didn't come out of the B main, so my guess is Brian was able to load up early and head towards home and then to Knoxville tonight. So Brian will get back more to a track he loves, Knoxville Raceway tonight, and he'll run a lot better tonight, don't you think?
I think
than
so.
He did down at Lucas Oil Speedway. So not a good 2 nights for Brian up there, but he'll run much better tonight at Knoxville. You can count on that. So that's where he is headed tonight. So
that's his favorite track.
That is, yeah. Why not?
Why not?
He's, second on the all-time list behind
right.
his uncle Danny Lasowski up there. So we'll see Brian do a whole lot better at Knoxville tonight. There is some drag racing going on. Flying H's Drag Strip out in Odessa has got 2 big nights. See, they got some pro mods and some funny cars out at Flying H's Drag Strip this weekend. They had some qualifying action yesterday out there, so if you're interested in watching pro mod racing, you might check out the drag races out at Flying H's Drag Strip this weekend.
Did you
I
see
love those pro mods.
Did you see Tony Stewart blew up yesterday on that qualifying run?
At Norwalk?
Yeah.
I missed
He
that one.
exploded yesterday.
So they got the NHRA at Norwalk, Ohio this weekend.
But, yeah, it looks like they already had some racing last night at Flying H Drag Strip.
They did. That's part of the 2-day pro mods and the funny cars out there. They've got some other classes out there, too. You brought up the NHRA. Justin Ashley was the #1 in Top Fuel last night. I think he was. Yes, that's backed up. He was handed the win at Dinwiddie after Sean Langdon was disqualified.
I sent Kirk that. I said, uh-oh, that ain't good.
So Justin Ashley wins at Dinwiddie, and then last night at Norwalk, he qualifies #1 in Top Fuel. Cruz Pedregon #1 in Funny Car. Greg Anderson in Pro Stock, and Matt Smith in Pro Stock Motorcycle. We'll watch Fox and FS1 rest of the weekend at Norwalk, the Summit Racing Nationals up there. That's a pretty cool event up there in northern Ohio. You wanted to bring something up, Scott.
I wanted to bring up I-70 Speedway.
I'm hearing good news about I-70 Speedway. I'm more optimistic that we are going to see a reopening at some point of I-70 Speedway dirt track. From what I hear,
it doesn't look good.
Well, right, but that's coming. We're coming back. I think all of that is going to come back. We may be sitting here 5 years from now, Scott. I-70 Speedway may be the track in the Kansas City area before it's all done.
Right.
That seems kind of
far-fetched
to say right now, but I'm thinking there may be a better future for I-70 Speedway than any track within 30, 45 minutes of Kansas City, including Central Missouri Speedway. So,
hey, Central Missouri Speedway might have been sold.
I don't know that for sure. I heard rumblings that they might have sold the track. We'll see what happens. We'll get a confirmation on that. Don't know yet. We're going to be down at Central Missouri Speedway next weekend for the Tom Wilson Memorial. That'll be part of the Heartland Modified Tour, which was in action last night at Monette Speedway. The first of 2 nights of the Larry Phillips Memorial. Tanner Mullins wins that feature event last night. Pretty good action down at Monette Speedway last night. Watched that race late last night, and Gary Christian and Terry Phillips, I think, ended up third in that race. So you can tune in on racingdirt.com for the final night of the Larry Phillips Memorial down at Monette Speedway. But those guys are going to have pretty good bunch of modified. Central Missouri Speedway was the home of the Mighty Modifieds. Well, next weekend, they're going to have a pretty good group of modified drivers down there next weekend for the Heartland Modified Tour. So Tom Wilson Memorial, they're going out with a bang with the Tom Wilson Memorial. There's going to be some pretty good guys down there next weekend.
They raced at Monette.
Yes, sir. Monette Speedway. You been there?
I've been there.
That is an interesting racetrack. It's an old racetrack. That track's been around for a long, long time. The last time I was down there a couple of years ago, it had a lot of character. I'll just put it that way. I'm not sure if they put any more improvements into that race, but the racetrack itself is great.
Hour number 2 of Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints.
You can hear Hour 2 exclusively on RacingBoys.com, Facebook, and YouTube. Coming up.
Right. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. We can't thank you enough for doing so.
Jay Powers, great job. Back Sports Radio 810. Todd Surprise, great job as always.
Thank you.
All right. Hour number 2 coming up.
You're on Track Talk.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Jeff Montgomery here.
Thanks, my man.
It's
Appreciate
summer
it,
and
man.
time for baseball, golf, and
All right, we'll see you next week. I'm going to go home and try to figure out how to work that lawn.
Yeah, be careful on that new mower, man. Thing can be short. See you after the 4th of July, my man.
All righty.
All right, have a good week.
back in the game fast. And Dr. Brown made
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Spirit Specialty Sportswear in-house. We do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sabres 33 RLP. Let's go take a tour. Coming into this animal, we're going to take a trip back here to the feature of this trailer, the deck. Check it out. It's awesome. It's 4 by 10 feet. You can dance on this thing. Boom! Check it out. It's pretty nice. And then coming to the back of this thing, you got a 75-inch TV. It's huge. 60-inch fireplace. Nice and big, keep you warm. Then you got an ottoman that converts into a table, if you will. Maybe some TV trays. Then this hide-a-bed that I'm pointing at, it comes out and folds into like a king-size bed with storage in the corner for all your linens. Great little addition to the trailer. Your dinette, of course. Then you're gonna come around to the kitchen with the tic-toc sink. It's got the spritzer and the waterfall and all that stuff. Residential style refrigerator. It's got the microwave and the oven that's residential as well. Big old pantry over here with motion detected lights, coffee bar, and then coming up to the bedroom, you'll have the bathroom first, nice and spacious with a seat in it for them ladies. And then we got the king size bedroom with washer dryer hookup. I'm telling you, this is a home run for a couples coach. Come and see me, Kyle Walker.
Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
So we have a lot of folks come in interested in traveling for work. This is going to be a great option. Your Coachman Northern Spirit 2565 front kitchen. You have a nice wraparound full front kitchen here. Huge windows up top. Big 12-volt refrigerator. Lots of windows on the sides here. Great natural light coming in. You have your big TV over here on the swing arm bracket so you can kind of see it from any point in the room. Also have your bar stools here. Sit and eat your breakfast. In the bedroom, you're going to have a king-size bed in the slide-out. Lots of storage underneath that. Washer, dryer, hookup. Tons of storage with the drawers. Then you got your full bath across the back. When it comes down to a camper that you can get for 6,500 pounds and be under 30 feet long, this is an absolute home run.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back to Track Talk here. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Eye Midwest Lightning Sprints. We got Blake Hahn, Trey Starks, and Chase Rodman coming up.
Yes, sir. We haven't heard from Blake yet. He was on our Mostly Motorsports show earlier in this week after his first win of the season in the ASCS National Tour event down at Batesville, Arkansas, and some pretty interesting action coming up with the ASCS National Tour. It's unfortunate they got rained out at Tulsa last night, but I think tonight is still on. And then next weekend they're going to be at the high banks of Belleville. And then after that, they'll be at Lakeside Speedway on July 11th, 81 Speedway on July 12th. So some pretty good races with the ASCS National Tour.
What do you think about Lakeside Speedway, Kurt?
Yeah, Blake's had good success out at Lakeside Speedway. So
you know,
get it done.
Larry Waters said that you can buy CMS, Scott Traylor.
Is it still available? I don't know. You know, Earl was wanting $1 million for Central Missouri Speedway.
I don't have $1 million.
So, you know, that's a pretty good location right along Highway 13 down there.
It is.
I don't know. I heard some rumblings out there that it may have already been sold. So we don't know for sure yet. But we know this. There's going to be racing down at Central Missouri Speedway coming up tonight. Next weekend, Tom Wilson Memorial. Friday and Saturday night, 4th and 5th of July down there. So look forward to getting down there for that. I wish that Central Missouri Speedway would stay a dirt track, but I'm not sure that's going to happen.
I think that it's been sold to a corporation?
I don't know. You know, Earl said that either a developer or somebody wants to as a racetrack, and so his asking price was $1 million. So anyway, we'll try to get confirmation on what the status is of all of that. But I know that they're going to be racing there for the rest of this season at Central Missouri Speedway. So we'll look forward to seeing what happens with the Tom Wilson Memorial next weekend. I tell you, we talked about it before the top of the last of the hour, that he's going to get some really good cars down there next weekend. That Heartland Modified Tour's been drawing some pretty good numbers. The numbers of the car count's going to be good, and the quality of the guys that's going to be there are good. I mean, last night we had down at Monette, Tanner Mullins and Gary Christian and Rodney Sanders, and I mean there was a lot of good guys down there. Tyler Wolf, and they've been drawing good car counts for that Heartland Modified Tour. So we'll look forward to seeing how it all goes down at Central Missouri Speedway next weekend. Also, the biggest event in our area this weekend is down at Lucas Oil Speedway. Night 3 of the Diamond Classic is tonight. $25,000 on the line. Aaron Reitzel wins on Thursday night. Rico Abreu wins last night. There's another event that's going on around the Kansas City area. If you like micro racing, you might check out what's going on over at Sweet Springs, Missouri tonight.
Chris Carroll won last night.
Yeah, Chris Carroll wins night 1 of the Keith Coons Motorsports Classic. And they had a pretty good number of racers down there at Sweet Springs last night, and more to come tonight. As you mentioned, Chris Carroll wins the feature event last night, and some of the other top finishers were Cole Kirkman, Colby Sokol, Travis Klein, and Sam Johnson, the top 5 at Sweet Springs. So they'll be going at that. I think you can watch that on Start to Finish TV, if I'm not mistaken. So check that out.
Start to Finish TV.
Yeah, that Power Eye TV.
Right.
They've been having some rain issues trying to get these Power Eye 410 races in here. So looking at the schedule for that here coming up over the next few weeks. They were out in Indiana last weekend. Ayrton Jennington won at Terre Haute last weekend. That's a track where he did well in the World of Outlaws a few years back, if you remember that. And also Parker Price Miller won one race out there at Putnamville and then flipped the car after he took the checkered flag. I don't think Bernie Stuchin was very happy about that, but Parker Price Miller. I see he was in a different car last night, the IRA racing last night out at Bloomington. I'll pull up the results of that here in a little bit, but I was looking at the Power Eye schedule coming up here over the next few weeks. They're going to be at the next event is I-55 Federated Auto Parts Speedway, not until the 1st of August is where the next Federated I-55. No, I take that back. I was pulling up the wrong schedule here. The 410 Outlaw Wing schedule coming up. Next event is 34 Raceway. I was looking at the wrong schedule. 34 Raceway is coming up July 25th. Then they'll go to Macon Speedway on July 26th. And then they're going to be at Lakeside Speedway on August the 15th. So those are some of the upcoming Honest Abe Roofing Power Eye 410 races coming up here in a little bit.
You know, Aaron Reitzel and Brad Sweet are tied at top of the points.
On the high limit side.
Yep.
Yeah, that's, you know, I asked Aaron Reitzel about that the other night. I said, you really think you got a good chance of winning this championship? And he said, well, you know, you'd look at Brad Sweet, as good as he's been winning championships, I don't even think, you know, I think about points, but he's not confident that he can challenge Brad Sweet for the win just based on his comments the other night. He said, Brad Sweet has won all these championships. I don't know if I can take him down or not. I think Aaron was just wanting to talk himself into not being so stressful and worried about points on a day-to-day basis. Because, chasing points can be real stressful.
Right.
So do you think Aaron's normally a pretty confident guy. Do you think he might just be saying that it's good to be the underdog and not be thought of as any kind of a favorite? You know Aaron pretty well.
I do. I know Aaron.
Is he just playing mind games there with himself, saying that?
I think so.
Because usually he's a pretty confident guy. Well, let's hear from Blake Hahn, who is the most recent winner of the ASCS National Tour. Too bad they got rained out last night, but still on tonight down at Tulsa Raceway tonight. Blake Hahn joining us after his victory at Batesville Motor Speedway on our Mostly Motorsports show from earlier this week. Hey, congratulations, man. That was pretty awesome. You got the big win the other night. How'd you do it?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good, man. We're excited, especially after that. We've been having some really good runs, but to finally be able to get the first win of the season with ASCS is good. So we're happy to finally get that first one knocked out. But, man, we've been having some good results lately. So we're just going to try to keep that going, and we're really kind of getting busy now. So the next few weeks we'll be really kicking it off. So it's a good time to get into this good warm streak.
You're currently second in points, right behind Sam Haferteef. Do you feel like that you've got a chance to catch Sam?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been, like I said, we've been really good the last few weeks, and been able to take a little chunk off this last weekend. And, really, I think we are one of the cars to contend for the championship when it's all said and done. I think there's probably 4 or 5 of us now that have kind of made that clear. So I think just try to be consistent all year long, be as good as I can be, and I think it'll all kind of work itself out.
At Batesville, you started on the outside of the front row right alongside Austin Gossel. I'm not sure what happened. Did Gossel run into the back of somebody trying to exit the track? What happened there?
Yeah, there was a car slowing down on the top of the front straightaway trying to pull off the track, and there was also a lap car at the very bottom of the track, and we came up on him pretty quickly, and I kind of saw him off pace a little bit towards the end of the straightaway. But yeah, Austin ran out of room and ran right into him. I don't know if he even had any time to lift or anything, and I think that damaged both those cars pretty good. But yeah, so that was about the halfway point, and I inherited the lead after that red flag after they cleaned it up. And it was actually an open red, so I was able to have my guys come out and take a look at the tires, see how we were sitting on tire wear, and top me off on tire pressure and a little bit of fuel too. So after that, just kind of went out there and just tried to run some good consistent laps at a pretty steady pace. And I knew I was gonna run into some lap traffic at some point, but wasn't exactly sure when. I knew it was about the 10 laps in was about when we were able to sneak up to the back of them, and with having 12 laps left, it really made it kind of close. But got to lap traffic with about 5 to go, and really kind of had to maintain my pace and not sneak up on them too much because the track was pretty dominant up top, so didn't want to get off that too much if I didn't have to. But we had a really good car all night and was able to capitalize towards that midway point of the A feature.
Blake, you've got 23 national wins. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about the first one till now. Obviously, we're keep striving to get as many wins as we can get this season and try to cap off that championship. But it's been really cool. I've been able to go to a bunch of tracks thanks to ASCS, a bunch of new tracks for myself and my team. And, that was our first win at Batesville this last weekend. So it's really cool to add that one onto the list and add it to the list of other places we've been able to go to and race. And we look forward to going to some more new tracks this year and checking out some other places and continuing to, continue to grow our notebook for our team. But, it's just really, really cool to be able to say we've won that many races with ASCS. Seems like this season the competition's gotten better and better, so we're really looking forward to seeing how it all plays out with us.
You were a little pumped up after that win. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we were. Like I said, we've had some really good runs, just haven't been able to capitalize and pull that win off. So to me, just be able to get that first win, it means a lot. It opens the door. And, you've heard it before. Just so once you get that first one out of the way, it seems like the other ones are a little bit easier. So we've had some good speed all year. So we continue to try to grow on that and just try to get better every time we touch a track, every time we go to another track. And, we're just excited to hopefully continue this momentum we've got going.
We talked to you in the off season as a change for you this year, heading into 2025 to go for the full-time ASCS National Tour. You got a growing family. You wanted to spend a little bit more time at home. The schedule kind of works out better for you this way, but not as much 410 racing this year.
Yeah, no, we only get about a handful of races this year with the 410, but we're definitely getting a lot of racing in. There's no lack of racing other than when we've been having rainouts a couple months. So, we've just tried to race as much as we can. The 360 schedule is really picking up right now, so we'll be busy with the 360 all the way until 410 Nationals. That'll be the next time we'll have the 410 in, and we hope to maybe throw it in a couple more times to finish off the season. But it kind of cut back our 410 racing, but we still have our engines. We're still continuing to try to get better and grow our program in the 410 as well as 360 both.
You kind of leapfrogged over Matt Covington. You're in second place right now in the point standings. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, there's about a handful of us that have kind of made it clear that we're the ones that are going to contend for championships. So, me, Matt, Seth, and Sam, and I guess even Jason Martin, us five, I'd say we're the ones that would be the most, the ones that are going to contend for the championship when it's all said and done. But yeah, to be able to get that win this weekend really helped. The other guys, they had good runs, but I was able to have Brady Baker in second, so that added another gap for me to add some more points in there. So it's always good. Just try to chip away at it. I don't focus on it too much, but I want to continue to chip away at it, try to get that points lead narrowed down, and be there when it's all said and done.
That battle that you and Sam and Matt Covington had, where was that, Texarkana? That was one of the classic races of the whole year. That was a wild race. Describe what your thinking was after you finished. You didn't win, but I know Sam gave you a lot of props after he won it, but that was one hell of a race.
Yeah, Tim Crawley has done some really great work at 67 Speedway with adding the wall all the way around it. I think it sped the track up a little bit and helped keep that moisture in. And man, he's got it dialed in for when the sprint cars are there. He really knows what kind of track we want, and he's able to provide that to us. So anytime we get to go there, it's fun. So it was an awesome race. This track surface was perfect come A feature time. There's a little bit of moisture on the bottom, slick through the center, and big old curb to lean on the wall. So about halfway point started really getting dicey there. It got to some lap traffic, was able to make a couple moves and slide. I think actually Sam slid me getting into 1 and 2, and I was able to cross under him, and I ended up driving back by him and being able to slide Matt for the lead. And right at that point, it was kind of game on. Everybody was throwing sliders. It seemed every corner. So we spent about 10 laps doing that, and with about 5 to go, we had a caution, and that was pretty much all it was.
I think it's the race of the year, Blake. But hey, I've seen a lot of races this year. That was as entertaining a race as we've seen all season.
It was fun. It really was a fun race. Like I told Tim, I was like, I appreciate a track like that. I think we don't get those all the time. So when we get tracks like that, it's really fun to race on, and it's fun when you got a crowd like you had that night to put a race on like that for. So it was really exciting. The crowd was into it, so that made it even more enjoyable for us racers.
Hey, talk about your dad a little bit. Your dad is one of your biggest supporters. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. He is. I wouldn't be where I'm at without all the hard work and dedication he's put into my team, and to help us be successful and continue to grow, and help me network and make those connections that I need to make. And he travels with me every weekend. There's been one night he wasn't there with us, and other than that, he's been there every single night racing with me. Travels up and down the road. And, honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I enjoy the windshield time with him, and being able to say I've been able to win races with him right beside me is awesome.
And you haven't had a lot of turn. You got a pretty loyal crew there too, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Dalton has been with me for nearly 10 years now, so just being able to have that consistency is next level. I think that's what just helps us, brings us to the next level when it comes to organization and just being prepared for a race and just being able to know what I've got. Got Dalton in my corner, know he's got my back no matter what. Just know that he knows what kind of car I need, what kind of car I expect, and what he expects from me. So we hold each other pretty accountable for what we have to do, and we look forward to continuing to work together, obviously. And we've got Paul on board. He's had him for a few years now, too, and he's really learning a lot. Came in with no knowledge or nothing about a sprint car and jumped in head first. So it's been fun to be able to teach Paul and continue to grow with Dalton and see how this team continues to evolve.
Excited about this schedule coming up. You're going to be pretty close to home. Tulsa Speedway coming up this weekend. Then you're going to the high banks of Belleville. How excited are you to, go with the high-speed Belleville high banks coming up? And then after that, you're going to Lakeside, 81, and then it's the Don Swope Classic at Creek County Speedway. That's some pretty good races coming up for you.
Yeah, it's a good lineup for me, honestly. Those are all track too, and I feel like I've had some pretty good success at. So we're looking forward to Tulsa this weekend. I think it'll be a really good crowd. It's pay per car, $25 per car load that weekend, so should have a good crowd. And we've had some good success at Tulsa. We've been able to win from 16th there a few years ago, and last year had a really good car. I felt like we could have been a contender for the win. Just had some bad luck early on and got upside down. So I'm chasing for some redemption this weekend, hopefully follow it up with another win and keep on going. So, we're excited to continue going to those fun tracks, and we look forward to go back to Belleville. We haven't been there, and it's been 10 years since 2015. That was last time I was there in the 360. So look forward to that. And then, we get to go to a couple other tracks we're familiar with, and we look forward to continuing out this month and finishing at home.
What's the biggest challenge at Belleville? It's so fast. I mean, you're hanging the throttle around that joint, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those places there's nothing you can compare it to. So you got to go out there and just keep an open mind, and I think just kind of get up top and keep your momentum up is the name of the game there.
And Lakeside Speedway, you've had success out at Lakeside Speedway and 81 Speedway. These are all tracks that you've had a lot of success at.
Yeah, I look forward to them all. Like going to Lakeside, it's one of my favorite bigger tracks to go to throughout the season, and it's another place that the crowd's really, really good at. So we look forward to seeing our fans up there, and hope everybody comes out and enjoys the show with us. Hopefully the weather's beautiful for everybody, and we enjoy going there. They do a really good job with the track. They give us a really good track to race on, and we look forward to going to 81 too. That's another place we get to go to a few times throughout the season, and I've had a couple wins there with ASDS. So honestly, we've got a really good month ahead of us, and every track we get to go to, we enjoy going there, and I look forward to seeing all our fans.
What are some of the races that we're going to see you with the 410 coming up?
So the next one that we'll be in will be at the Knoxville Nationals with the 410 Nationals. So honestly, after that, it's kind of just filling the gaps. Whenever we don't have an ASCS weekend, try to fill it in, whether it be a 360 race that makes sense to get a little bit of practice in for the Nationals, or throw the 410 in and go run somewhere. So it's kind of just up in the air. If there's anybody that's curious, I'd say follow our Facebook page. It's where we keep up to date. You can keep an eye on that, see where we'll be at.
Man, we wish you good luck up at Knoxville.
Yeah, we look forward to it. It's about that time of the year. We're getting everything organized, getting everything dialed in for our trip, our 10-day trip up there to go racing. And we'll actually have we typically just have our 360 car. We'll pull an engine out for the 410s and put it in. And this year we're going to have our third car up there. That way we can have our 410 car ready for us. That way we'll be ready to go come 410 Nationals.
Boy, they've done a great job with this ASCS tour. Have they? A World Racing Group stepped in and took it over. It's a great trophy to try to win the championship with your grandfather. The statue of your grandfather as the trophy to win. That's kind of cool, but World Racing Group, they've really done a good job with this series since they picked it up, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Cody and Lonnie both have been doing a really good job, and I think they'll continue to grow. I think they're open-minded enough to make changes where they see fit. And, I think once these tracks see the kind of racing we can put on like we did at 67 and continue to put on, I think a lot more tracks will be interested in bringing us in, and that's something we all look forward to as drivers, is being able to just expand our schedule a little bit, go to those places that we feel like our series deserves to go to, like these big tracks that put on these marquee events. And I think there's no reason we shouldn't have ASCS at these awesome tracks that have some great facilities. So I think that's what they're working towards. So I look forward to seeing exactly what all they can get going in the next couple of years. So, and then, with that trophy, that's our main goal, is to get that trophy at the end of the year. So we're looking forward to that, and can't wait to see what we can get done.
I just checked the social networks, ASCS, and I don't see any indication that tonight is not going to happen. Last night, of course, they got a lot of rain down there at Tulsa, and Tulsa Raceway had to cancel Friday night show, but all indications are that tonight is still on. And then next week, Scott, the race at Belleville is going to be a Thursday-Friday show. So Thursday night, July 3rd, and then the 4th of July at the Belleville High Banks. And then after that, they're coming to Lakeside Speedway on July 11th. They'll be at 81 Speedway July 12th, and then the Don Swope Classic at Creek County on Friday, July 18th for the ASCS National Tour.
Hey, Kirk. Ken Gardner said that, did Copar buy it?
I have no idea. You mean Central Missouri Speedway?
Right.
Not a clue. I don't know. There are just some rumblings out there that it Central Missouri Speedway may have been sold, but I haven't got any confirmation on that yet. So, but it is for sale. It has been for sale. And so either to a developer or somebody wants to keep it a racetrack. I was hoping somebody would keep it as a racetrack, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But we're going to enjoy Central Missouri Speedway as long as we have it. And next weekend, the Tom Wilson Memorial. That's kind of what I'm focused on right now.
$1 million.
That's what he was asking. So we'll see.
Is that a lot of money?
I don't know.
Do you think that's a lot of money?
Yeah, it's $1 million a lot of money.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know for that piece of property. I'm not quite sure. I would think it would be pretty valuable property, but
on Highway 13.
Highway 13. So I love Central Missouri Speedway. If we didn't have it anymore, I'd be kind of sad about that. I feel that way about a lot of racetracks we've lost. I mean, you just go back here just over the last 2 or 3 years. We lost I-80 Speedway. We lost Devil's Bowl Speedway.
It lost
I-30 Speedway, Little Rock.
Yeah,
it's sad the number of tracks we're losing around here.
Hey, did you see that press release? The former head of All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Car Series.
I did see that. That's sad news that came out.
Bert passed away.
He was the founder of the All-Star Circuit of Champions. Sad news that they talked about that down at Lucas Oil Speedway here this past weekend, here a couple of days ago. He was a trailblazer.
84 years old.
Bert Emick, founder of the All-Star Circuit of Champions. He did a great job with that series for a lot of years.
Absolutely.
So sad we lost one of the pioneers of
sprint car racing.
Yeah, Bert Emick. So anyway, we have more sound from Trey Starks, who is the reigning champion of the Dirt Cup at Skagit Speedway.
We might need to do that sprint car read first, Kirk.
Okay. You got it pulled up.
Yeah,
Why not?
I think we need to do that.
National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum has the Corvette. We're getting down to just a few weeks left here, aren't we? Boy, time flies, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
The beautiful competition yellow Corvette is going to be given away a week after the Knoxville Nationals. You can sign up for it until the day after the Knoxville Nationals, and they'll give it away the weekend after that. And all you have to do is go to winacorvette.org to get registered. This is a beautiful competition yellow ZTK 1,064 horsepower.
We're looking at a new video that they just posted this week here of the car.
That's a new video?
Yeah, it's on the Sprint Car Hall of Fame page there. And so,
that's a beautiful car. I like that. Normally I don't like yellow, but I don't know. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it?
So it says enter by July 4th for your chance to win this giant neon Corvette sign as well. So if you enter,
it's worth $125,000.
That car.
So you got till next Friday to win that. That sign looks pretty good.
So promo code Firecracker30 gives you 30% more entries. So that gives you a chance to get some extra entries if you use that promo code. So we
winacorvette.org is where you go to get registered. Also, if you're up at the Hall of Fame tonight, going to Knoxville, check out the Manzanita Speedway salute. They got a lot of great cars and great history of the old Manzanita Speedway, which closed in 2009. One of the cars on display up there is Jesse Hockett machine that he drove to the last sanctioned win at Manzanita Speedway. That's on display up there. And
they got 8 cars up there on display.
And they got some great videos up there of some of the action from back in the day of Keith Hall's Manzanita Speedway. They used to have they started the Western World Championship back there in the day, and that was one of the big crown jewel of racings. It's still going on, but it's at it's been at different racetracks since Manzanita closed.
And they've got they've also got the sprint car photo up now, Kirk.
Yeah, for 2026. This is a sprint car that's not going to be given away until December of 26. Not this year. They do this every 2 years.
Yes, sir.
So you can get registered for that as well.
Kirk, the BC39 is going to be on Tuesday and Wednesday.
It is. Now, in the last few years, they've had this event in late September, but it's been moved up to July 1st and 2nd at the dirt track at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Cannon McIntosh won this event last year, and they've already put out an entry list for this. BC39 looks like they're going to get more race cars for this event, and that's coming up Tuesday and Wednesday, July 1st and 2nd at the dirt track in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm working on trying to get one of the drivers on for Monday's show.
That'll be episode 366.
Yeah. Now, we don't do that live anymore.
That's right.
So we don't stream that live, but we're gathering interviews, and you have it posted later in the day on Monday.
On Monday, if Tuesday, if something else happens on, like if a driver can't join us or something.
And when you get that
Todd,
up,
I
we'll post it out.
appreciate you doing that extra work.
Not a problem. And then also, we post a weekly, kind of like a weekly wrap up on YouTube. So right now there's a little teaser from our it's like the first segment of our Mostly Motorsports podcast, and we just kind of wrap up what happened over the weekend. And so I post that up. I just started doing that. So there's a little teaser of our opening segment from last week. But episode 365 is where you'll find all these interviews that we're playing today, and episode 366 available on anywhere you get your podcast. So iTunes or Google Music, SoundCloud, Spotify, any of those places, you can Amazon, all those places, you can find our podcast. You can search it one or two ways. You can type in Racing Boys, or you can type in Mostly Motorsports. Either one of those in their search bar will find our podcast. So it'd be good stuff.
Yeah, just racingboys.com. Click the
Absolutely.
link to, and all the shows are there. So
That's
the big reason we're not doing the live stream of that show gives us more flexibility scheduling the guests, and makes the podcast better.
Yeah, and then that makes our Saturday morning show better since we're able to have for an example, Trey Starks was able to come on. We didn't know when we started the show on Monday we were actually going to get him or not. Wasn't quite sure we had that locked down yet. But
yeah,
we were able to knock out the Blake Hahn interview and the Chase Rodman interview, and we set our element, and we got Trey Starks.
So it worked out pretty good.
Worked
the
out
first
good.
Week we did it.
So that's exactly why we did it that way,
Yeah.
and it turned out to be the best choice. Like you said, we know it's not another. We have a few people that
kind of shortens up the commercial breaks too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
not as many. The podcast was having a lot of commercials, and when I started listening to other podcasts, they didn't nearly carry as many commercials, and we understand. So
I think it's going to help our download numbers.
Oh, I think it will too. I think, and that's another thing I'd like for people to make sure you subscribe to that podcast, and make sure you share that with all your friends, because, like I said, if you listened to it before, I know there was a lot of commercials in there. We've kind of cut that down to just some bare minimum stuff. So make sure you tune in to episode 366. It'll be posted by Monday evening. It'll be all up there ready for you guys to watch and download.
Well, we're not changing our Track Talk show. It's
No,
still
sir.
going to be a live 2-hour show every Saturday morning.
Right.
Just like we're doing now. Well, let's hear more from Trey Starks, who is the big winner of the Dirt Cup at Skagit Speedway, part 2 from an interview we did with him earlier this week. How difficult was that working the lap traffic at Skagit on Saturday night?
Man, I'll tell you, the first time we got to them, it was, I mean, there were 4 lanes of cars across the track. I didn't really know what to do. I knew for sure that just rolling up on the back of them with them, like I said, all the way across the track and racing pretty hard, I knew that really getting aggressive would result probably in some torn up race cars. So I just kind of had to get in line and wait for an opening, wait for, trying to figure out which lane was advancing better. So it was a meticulous journey through traffic, for sure. I would say I was maybe a little bit conservative the first time we caught traffic, which is what allowed Tanner to get by us. So the second time around we caught traffic after I had gotten the lead again. I knew that, obviously you don't want to, tear up race car or else you're not going to finish. But I knew if I wanted to win the race, I was going to have to just be a little bit more aggressive and make a little bit more concise decisions, because Tanner was, nipping at my heels the whole time. So, but yeah, I mean, traffic's always difficult, especially when, like I said, you got 26 really, really fast cars that probably could be running up front if you put them up there, any one of them. So, yeah, I knew we had to pick through them quick and, kind of cover my tracks a little bit, not to allow Tanner to get by. There were a couple times there late where, there was some close calls with going around the outside of cars on the exit of the corners that probably could have went either way. But I knew, if I wanted to win the race, then I was going to have to take that shot and take the risk and see if we could squeak by them, because any car you can put between you just helps you that much more, for sure.
Tell us more about this 55 car you're driving.
Yeah, it's really, since 2013 or 14, it's basically the same exact operation. Same chassis and engine combo. We really haven't changed a whole lot in our operation. Once we found a combination that it liked, we've kind of stuck with it. We've ran J&J chassis for, I think we bought our first car in 2014, and we still actually have it. We're not running it right now, but we still do have the first car that we ever bought in the stable here. So, we took off, and I ran a little bit nationally with J&J, and with owners that I had, we ran their cars, and then when I came back and ran my own stuff, we kind of stuck with it. And yeah, like I said, J&J and Charlie Fisher engines, they've been a really good combination for us over the years. It's just nice to, kind of showcase what our family operation can do. We have good equipment, but I wouldn't say we have 10 of everything like a lot of the bigger teams do. We have what we need to get by, and and perform at these big races. And like I said, we were able to showcase it here this weekend and over the last couple of years. So that feels really nice that we can, take our operation and run up front with some of the best in the country.
We've seen you do well at Knoxville. Are you going to venture out from the Northwest here over the next few weeks?
I would really like to get back to Knoxville one of these years. With what we've got going on at work right now and the program they have up at Skagit. I've said over the last couple of years that if it wasn't for the weekly program and the points fund that they have at Skagit, we probably wouldn't even race as much as we do now. So they make it pretty hard to not show up on Saturday night. But one of these years, we've always said that, if we get an opportunity to head back there, it'd be nice to take our stuff back and see what we've got against the guys at Knoxville again, and see if I remember how to get around that place.
So the high limit is going to be back out there again. You're going to tackle those guys again when they head back that way, I'm sure, right?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, we'll see what we got against them again. The Skagit Nationals and the Dirt Cup are both, growing into bigger events than I would have ever imagined. So, it's really nice to have that kind of in our backyard and be able to compete for some good money against some stiff competition. And I think, the Northwest racing scene is growing back again to new heights. So it's cool to see how it's kind of evolved into what it is today.
This is a monumental payday. What does this do for your race team to walk out of there with the kind of money you had over the weekend?
Yeah, it's incredible to have an opportunity to race for that kind of money. I mean, when I started racing sprint cars in 2010, I don't know if I would have ever dreamed of being able to compete for, a six-figure payday, let alone, take it home. So, this is huge for us and our team. It keeps, a team like us, it keeps us going for the rest of the year and really helps out. I mean, it just allows us to potentially be, even more of a contender when the big guys show up. And I think that's the whole idea. I think that's what Kevin and Monica Rudine have in mind when they're pumping up this local 410 group is that, hey, the local fans now, they've got people to root for that they can come see on a weekly basis that are also competitive when, the national touring groups show up or, the best drivers from the West Coast and abroad come out for Dirt Cup. I think it makes it really special for the community around the racetrack itself, and all the fans that are involved as well.
So how big was this? Is close to home. How big was the celebration on Saturday night?
It was pretty big. We had a long line of fans. We stayed, I think, well over 2 hours after the race was over. And then I had my buddy Dominic Selzy there pitted next to me all weekend, and a couple of our friends from home. And he was headed back. He had to drop his wife and kids off at the airport in Portland on Sunday morning. So, we wrapped up with all the fans at the track, and the pits kind of settled down a little bit, and we said, let's take this one on home. So we drove back here to Puyallup and sat in my living room until probably 3 or 4 in the morning, and watched the highlights. Talked about the night. It was really cool. I mean, we're older now, and we've both got, we're both married and have kids of our own now. So I think, sometimes the days of, drinking all night at the track and partying and carrying on I wouldn't say they're over, but it was really cool to be able to enjoy the time at the track, and then just come home and slow down a little bit and enjoy it with friends. Just a really rewarding and fun night for us.
The one guy who's probably the most disappointed that Trey Starks walked out of there with the big money is Tanner Holmes, because he had the lead in this race. And if not for that red flag, and Trey Starks talked about it, they were able to work on that race car during that red flag stoppage and made it better. I think Tanner Holmes probably would have hung on to win that race had that red flag not occurred. I don't know. What do you think?
I would agree with you, Kirk.
Because Holmes would have been hard to get back around, I think. But who knows? One will never know. But congratulations to Trey Starks, big winner. Buddy Kofoid, the other big winner this past weekend in dirt sprint car racing. Now we're going to see who wins the $25,000 tonight at Lucas Oil Speedway, and we're looking forward to heading down there for that. I was looking at, we're talking Central Missouri Speedway here a little bit ago. They are racing tonight at Central Missouri Speedway. They got the Show Me Vintage Racers down there tonight, and then next weekend, the Tom Wilson Memorial. It's the 25th annual Tom Wilson Memorial. It's hard to believe Tom's been not with us that long, but anyway, it is the 25th annual Tom Wilson Memorial, night one, next Friday night, July 4th, and then Saturday night, July 5th, featuring the Heartland Modified Tour, and fireworks will be at Central Missouri Speedway. I'd like to see a packed house down there next weekend because we don't know how many more races we got. At CMS.
Tom Wilson was my partner before you. You know that?
Yeah. He had this booming voice at Central Missouri Speedway. He was the announcer down there.
We did that at the old radio station.
You did the Midwest. You didn't call it Track Talk then, did you? You call it like Midwest Motorsports or something like that?
Midwest Motorsports.
It was on the old 1510. And then you moved over you did this show by yourself on 810 to start with before I came along.
Right.
And we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year, you and me. How about that?
That's crazy. 25 years.
Todd's been with us about half that?
12 years.
12 years now. 12 years. Hey,
so time flies when you're having fun.
We got to make our NASCAR picks before we do this last interview.
So tonight, I was trying to remember. See, the winners last year, Daniel Suarez won that classic 3-wide finish.
Yes, sir.
In February of 2024. And then Joey Logano won the fall race, and Christopher Bell won the spring. So those are your last three winners.
Yeah. Blaney's your odds-on favorite for today, along with Joey Logano.
Logano's on the pole.
Yes, sir. So Blaney, Logano, Cindric, Byron, and Keselowski there kind of round out your top five. Scott, that thing's up there on the screen there for you to look there to the left of you.
So let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race. So you have Joey Logano and Josh Berry on the front row. Berry won at Las Vegas earlier this year.
He's way down there.
You have Ryan Blaney and Austin Cindric on row 2. Ryan Preece and Brad Keselowski on the third row. Cole Custer and Zane Smith, Alex Bowman, and Chase Briscoe.
It's hard to pick against Kyle Larson.
You know who I'm going to go with?
Who you picking,
I'm
Kurt?
going out on a limb. I'm going to say Brad Keselowski.
How about that?
Breaks through with a big win. It's been a while since Brad has won. He's not won since he's been. No, he won that race at Darlington since he's been with his own RFK team, right?
Yeah.
He won a year ago at Darlington. I'm going to say Brad Keselowski is the winner tonight. How about that?
Well, that's a
pick.
There's a pick.
I'm going to pick Ryan Blaney.
You know, we've not had a repeat winner since Kyle Larson won at Kansas, have we? Have we had a repeat winner? Let's see. We had Kyle Larson won at Kansas Speedway. We had Ross Chastain win the Coke 600. Ryan Blaney won at Nashville.
You know, that was a
then
snoozer.
You had Denny Hamlin winner at Michigan, Shane Van Gisbergen at Mexico City, and then last week Chase Briscoe. We've not had a repeat winner,
Chris,
since you go back to Joey Logano winning at Texas and Austin Cindric at Talladega. We've had a lot of non-repeat winners dating back to early April. So when Kyle Larson won at Bristol, we've had no repeat winners since Austin Cindric won at Talladega.
I'm going to go out and pick. My picks today are Joey Logano and Kurt Busch.
Well, not Kyle Busch.
I meant Kyle. I don't know why I said Kurt. So Logano, Busch. Scott, you got Blaney. Who would be your backup? You going to have Bell as your backup again, or are you going to go out on a limb with
Christopher Bell?
That's what I figured.
I'm going to go Chase Elliott because it's been a while since he's won a race, right?
All right.
And that would be like a hometown win, wouldn't it, for Chase Elliott?
You know,
absolutely.
Chris Yance and Tony Pittman said Larson.
There you go.
There you go. Larson said, he was down at Lucas Oil Speedway on Thursday night.
Yes, he was.
And, we've not even talked about Kyle Larson in his sprint car here lately. But he finished 5th on Thursday night, but he's just been kind of off a little bit since the debacle at Indy and Charlotte, is it?
Yep.
Kyle's not really been Kyle Larson, has he?
Been pulled in a lot of directions. It's one of those things
He's
where
not run well even in his sprint car.
That's what I'm saying. I just kind of think maybe he's spreading himself a little thin, and it's just one of those things that kind of happens sometimes in the racing.
Well, it just goes to show you how tough this is.
Well, the racing, it's not. You just don't throw your name in the hat just because your name's Kyle Larson and you win, right? So
Xavier Doney is running pretty good as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought him up. Xavier had a good qualifying effort the other night, finished I think he was 12th on
He ended up 12th
Thursday night.
And he was
where did he end up last night? Trying to see. He was 12th on Thursday night, and he was running in the top 10 for a while. And that is really good.
He run 16th the other night on Thursday night.
16th last night. He was 16th last night and 12th on Thursday night. Xavier Doney won a Power I race at Lucas Oil Speedway last year, and then he won the non-wing portion of the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial. Remember that?
Yep.
So Xavier Doney won in both a wing and non-wing car at Lucas Oil Speedway, and he knows how to get around that racetrack. And for him to even qualify and running in the top 10 for a period of time, and 12th and 16th place finishes that's not too bad for Xavier Doney at Lucas Oil Speedway.
Right.
Certainly better than some of the guys did. I mean, look at last night. He finished ahead of Peck. Peck had a problem, though. I think he spun out. J.J. Hickle was behind him. We talked about Brian Brown. He didn't even make the A-main, but on Thursday night, let's take a look at the guys that he finished ahead of. He was running in the top 10 a lot of that race, and he ends up in 12th place, and he finishes ahead of Spencer Baston, Brenham Crouch, those are regulars, Ayrton Jeniton. He finished ahead of Tyler Courtney. Courtney had an ignition box problem and dropped out, so he didn't finish. But he was up there mixing it up and running in the top 10. Peck, Rico, Kevin Thomas Jr. all got around him. But, hey, look who he's running against. So I think Xavier Doney has got a lot of talent, and he's still a pretty young guy. I think he's a guy that's only going to get better as time moves on.
He finished ahead of Spencer Baston, Brendan Couch, Ayrton Jeniton, Tyler Courtney.
Well, Courtney didn't finish the race. Courtney was running up front, remember?
Yep.
He had an
ignition problem.
Ignition box issue with that race car. Well, let's hear more from Chase Rodman. We not only talked about High Limit with Chase on our Monday interview, but we also got his take on the bigger races at Huset's and Skagit Speedway last weekend. More from the voice of the Kubota High Limit Racing, Chase Rodman, from earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. Let's get your take on Houston Speedway over the weekend. Buddy Kofoid walks out of there with
$350,000.
Yeah, I mean, and more than that, really. I mean, all the the money that he won during the preliminary nights too. Well, I mean, not too much short of $400,000. Then you add that high limit race at Eagle Raceway. I mean, you're looking at what, over $425,000 over the last 10 days.
Yeah, I'd say it's been a pretty good 2 weeks or so for Buddy. Yeah, like you said, I mean, $350,000 in just winning the 2 races over there at Houston. Plus, he ran second one night. I think he was second the other night, and then he got $55,000 over at Eagle as well. So I'm actually on SprintCarRatings.com. He's got $556,000, and the next closest guy is David Gravel with $255,000. So he has more than double the next closest guy in money earned. So definitely pretty crazy to have that much money, and we're only in June. And, technically people say that we haven't even gotten to the month of money, which, if you ask me, I think the month of money has been extended by quite a bit with how it's going now. Just a few years ago, we only had 1 or 2, 100,000 win races. Now we've got 9 in the United States and 1 in Australia. So, yeah, it's definitely crazy to see how much he's already racked up, and we'll see how far he can get up there, man, because he's obviously very, very good, and the Outlaws have plenty more big races coming up. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a contender at Knoxville, but, they got that $83,000 race at Tulare. No doubt he'll be in contention for that one as well, along with some other races throughout the season as well. So, Kofoid, I've been watching him. I announced him when he was in go-karts when he was 7, 8, 9 years old, and it's been fun to watch him make his way through the ranks and get to this point in his career.
Hey, you say he's not going to be a contender at Knoxville, but he finished 3rd at Knoxville here last weekend. I watched him do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the best run. I think even in his 3rd place interview, he was like, "This is the best I've ever felt. This is the best I've ever ran at Knoxville." He's made the Nationals a couple times, the feature, but I think that was the first time he actually felt like he had a car to contend for the win. But I mean, maybe if they continue to figure things out here and continue to run well, and he's got momentum going into that week, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he won. But yeah, that was definitely his best ever effort there at Knoxville Raceway. And if he won the Nationals and the High Bank Nationals, my God, and then he'd have to go try and run the Kings Royal, which if he was able to do that, we might be looking at one of the greatest seasons of all time.
Hey, we got a really tight point battle. It's going on. Tyler Courtney is 10 points back. Aaron Reitzel is 13 points back. Rico Abreu is 30 points back. And Brent Marks is 35 points back. That's a pretty tight race, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, it was even tighter before we got to Eagle, and a couple of the guys like Rico and Marks kind of had a little bit of an off night there. I think going into Eagle, it was like 15 points separated the top 5. So, but yeah, heading to Lucas Oil this weekend, 3 straight nights. The weather was cleared up, guys. I was looking yesterday, and it did not look good, but then I looked again today, and it's definitely looking a little bit better. But 35 points between the top 5 with 19 races down. We're closing in on halfway throughout the year. So it's definitely fun to be a part of and pay attention to it instead of, kind of think, okay, well, this guy's got a 100-point lead and, it's basically over. We'll watch the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. But no, I mean, Brad Sweet is 15th place finish away from going from 1st to 5th in points. I mean, that's how close it is. So, yeah, it's definitely fun to watch. And I think that Tyler Courtney, he has not won a race all year with high limit. I think that could change this weekend at Lucas Oil Speedway. The 2 races we ran there last year, he was 1st and 2nd. So definitely a track that he seems to like. And if he can get the win, I mean, might be able to take the point lead heading into Kentucky next weekend.
Are you a little surprised that Rico's got 5 wins?
No, I'm not surprised that he's got 5 wins, but I am surprised that he struggled as bad as he did at Houston this last week. I mean, he only made 1 feature the entire week. The track was, not exactly the best for the format. A lot of people were complaining about the format. I think the format's fine. You just had to get the track a little bit more racy. And, Rico definitely struggled there, which was surprising. For him to have 5 wins, honestly, I'm not surprised, man. I think he, had close to, if not maybe was the 2nd most wins last year. And I think he could definitely get to 10 wins this year with high limit.
Hey, I was going to ask you, you're going to late model country Florence Speedway down in Kentucky. You got rained out there last year, did you not?
We did, yeah. We were supposed to be there. I think it was only a one-night race last year. It might have been two. But, yeah, I have no idea what to expect from Florence. I did watch I think it was a Fast Series race there from last year, and it was a pretty good show. I think only one of the drivers in the field with High Limit as far as the full-timers go has ever been there before. So going to be one of those tracks where, and we've had a lot of them over the last 2 years with High Limit, we show up, nobody has a notebook, nobody knows what to expect. So, yeah, Florence Speedway, I've heard a lot of good things. The fans down there do not get to see a lot of 410 action, and so very interested to see how things go when we get down there for the Kentucky Sprint Nationals. Going to be a new track for a lot of people, including myself, so looking forward to getting there.
And all the big sprint car series has taken the 4th of July weekend off. Do you like that?
I do like that, yes, of course. You know, I feel like we spend a lot of time at the racetrack already, and I think it's a great move by the Outlaws and, of course, High Limit. I think High Limit was already off last year on July 4th, but for the Outlaws to also take it off, man, I think that's a great idea. You know, I'm sure there's some other racing going on if guys did want to go somewhere and run, but if you don't and you want to spend time with your family and enjoy the holiday weekend, then you have that opportunity. I don't see anything bad about it. I think that they need to do that every single year. We are already racing so much. Give them a weekend off. Make it 4th of July.
Well, in the meantime, this weekend, Lucas Oil Speedway is where to be, and I'm happy to hear your weather report. I hadn't looked that far ahead, to be right honest with you, but we need a nice summer-like weather with the no threat of rain this weekend. I think we're going to get it this weekend. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, like I said, I looked yesterday, and I was a little bit scared, but, yeah, it's definitely cleared up quite a bit. I thought, yesterday I was like, okay, we're only going to get like one night in, but now it looks like we'll get all three. So hopefully it continues on that pace, on that trajectory, and we'll see what happens.
Chase, we can't thank you enough for being on Mostly Motorsports. This is episode 365, just so you know.
Wow, a whole year's worth of episodes.
Right. Well, we'll get you back on. We'll talk about the big weekend at Eldora with the, what do they still call that, the Joker's Jackpot? We'll get you on around that time again.
Yeah, and stay tuned this week. I've been told for some big news concerning that race, so stay glued to the phones there. I want to say on Wednesday we got a big announcement coming out about that, so stay tuned for that. And thanks, guys, for having me on, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
That has something to do with the payout, that news coming up about the Joker's Jackpot. I'm guessing if that what they're talking, he said big news coming out next week about that. I would think it had something to do with the payout, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what, if you looked at some of the social media, what they've been talking, I think that's probably what he was hinting at, but stay tuned. Like he said, I think Wednesday is what he said, and probably making that announcement. So we won't have him on Monday. We may have him on the following Monday. So we'll be probably talking about that announcement.
Rico's got 6 wins now.
After last night, yeah, and there's a tie for the lead in the point standings now. Brad Sweet and Ayrton Reitzel is tied for the points lead heading into tonight. So looking forward to heading down to Wheatland here in a little while and see the final night up there. Hey, before we go, I just want to mention USAC in action tonight. USAC non-wing sprint cars are going to be at Fremont Speedway in Ohio tonight, and then tomorrow night at Millstream Speedway. Last night, they had the USAC Silver Crown cars on the pavement at Winchester Speedway. This is kind of like the old I-70 Speedway, the high banks of Winchester, pavement, Silver Crown cars. Cody Swanson wins that race over Justin Grant. Dakota Armstrong finishes in third in that 100-lapper last night. I watched a little bit of that. It's getting, it's kind of different hearing Brian Holbert do racing, pavement racing. I've seen him do that a couple times now. He did announced a race at the Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Indianapolis. So, but anyway, it's kind of different seeing Brian Holbert
doing pavement
racing.
Right.
So he was doing that last night. So we've had a good show. Thanks to all of our guests. Chase Rodman, we had Blake Hahn, we had Trey Starks on the show today, and we appreciate you tuning in. A lot of racing going on, and we hope you get out to the racetrack. I'd like to see a big crowd down to Wheatland tonight. That's, they got that show over with last night around, 9 o'clock? So you can, if you're driving in from a long ways away and there's no other support class, it's just all sprint cars, they're going to get you in and out of there in pretty good shape tonight. So I'd love to see the stands packed tonight down at Lucas Oil Speedway.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We want to thank our guests, Trey Starks, Blake Hahn, and Chase Rodman as well.
And thank you, Todd Surprise, as always, for everything you do.
Thanks, my man. Appreciate it. See you guys Monday.
Yes, sir.
Mostly
we'll be
motorsports.
here. We don't know who we're going to have on for sure yet. Depends on what happens tonight. But I'm working on a couple of things, so stay tuned. We'll have a good show coming up.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into Track Talk. We appreciate everybody that tunes in. We appreciate it so much. You can't believe how much we appreciate it. For Todd Surprise, for Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on Mostly Motorsports.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.